It's a 4:15. You're watching ChannelOne television. Earlier, we told you that there's going to be a press conference by the police in Akwatia. Recall that on Tuesday, the people of Akwatia will be going for the by-election to choose a new member of parliament. The police administration is currently addressing the media on steps that have been put in place so far, preparations ahead of Tuesday. We take you live to Akwatia now for details of that press conference.
As you may all be aware, we have an important assignment to execute in Akwatia, and the assignment is to provide security for the by-elections for the Akwatia constituency. Now, the constituency is divided into 119 polling stations. We have 21 electoral areas and 1 collation center and 1 constituency. As you may all be aware, the Ghana Police Service, in collaboration with other sister security agencies, have provided and continue to provide security arrangements for all our elections in this country. We want to assure all the citizens, the political parties, and the journalists of their safety and security during this exercise. I must say that as part of our effort to ensure that we have free and fair elections, the Ghana Police Service Management Board, led by the Inspector General of Police, Christian Tete Yohonu, engaged with the Electoral Commission and had some conversations or discussions and modalities regarding how the by-election in Akwatia is going to be conducted. These discussions were very fruitful and informed some changes in how the EC intends to run the elections at Akwatia. The POMAP members also had an engagement with both political parties, the major political parties, the NDC and the MPP. And during these engagements, their concerns and their fears were laid bare by the Inspector General of Police, reassured all of them of the professionalism and the commitment of the Ghana Police Service to deliver on its mandate by providing security for all the political parties as well as all the electorates that will be participating in this exercise. We also had an encounter with civil society organizations, including the Peace Council. And all our engagements was to reassure them of our commitment, dedication, and professionalism in delivering on our statutory mandate. And as part of this engagement, we have deployed 5,500 police personnel for this by-election. All the personnel have gone round to familiarize themselves with their polling stations and the electoral areas where they will be performing their duties. As part of these engagements, the police personnel will get themselves involved in community engagements to reassure the communities, the electorates, that they should not fear. They should all come out and cast their votes, exercise their rights as good citizens of this country. Now, certain protocols have also been defined for the polling stations, the collation center, and the so-called observers or monitors who go around from one polling station to the other. Now, we have informed the EC to provide specific accreditations to the polling agents, people that will be accredited to the collation centers, the media, and the monitors or observers who will be going around to observe the elections at various police stations and electoral areas. We want to emphasize that if you are not accredited to a polling station, you have no business at the polling station, with the exception of those legitimate voters who are going there to exercise their franchise. So if you don't have accreditation to a polling station, you have no business going to the polling station. And those who are going to exercise their franchise, once you vote, you can go home and rest. And when it is time for the collation of the results, you can come back and observe and participate in the exercise. At the collation center, the media that will be accredited are the only media that will have access to the collation center. The political party agents that will also be accredited to be at the collation center are those that will be allowed. The observers, election observers that will also be accredited at the collation center are those that will be allowed to participate in that exercise. Apart from these accredited persons or individuals, organizations or institutions, no any other person will be allowed at the collation center. If you are not accredited to be at the collation center, please do not, I repeat, do not venture to appear at the collation center. We have also earmarked certain security strategies to prevent people from exercising unconstitutional rights, and that is motorbikes, the use of motorbikes. We may not infringe upon people's rights, preventing them from riding their motorbikes. However, these motorbikes will only be entertained 100 meters away from the polling stations, and we will not encourage pillion riders during this period where we have the by-elections. I want to add that the Inspector General of Police has announced zero tolerance for weapons. What it means is that even VVIP and bodyguards to ministers, parliamentarians will not be allowed to carry their sidearms or weapons into the polling stations. They may have to hand over their weapons at the police stations, and then they can accompany them into the inner perimeter of the police stations. On the other hand, they may not be allowed to accompany them. They may stand 100 meters away from the polling station and wait for their principals. Once they exercise whatever they are supposed to do, they come and they can escort their principals and provide whatever security they intend to provide for them. The Inspector General of Police has announced the deployment of what we call the Black Maria. The Black Maria is a specialized purpose vehicle that we are going to use to accommodate miscreants who intend to create any mayhem or cause confusion during the elections. So when you see the Black Maria around, don't be afraid, provided you are not going to cause any confusion or cause any violence during this electoral process. We want to also inform you that we have technology-enabled capabilities that we are going to deploy. This includes CCTV, body cameras, and we'll also fly some drones. These are all capabilities that we are going to deploy to help us ensure maximum and adequate security for these by-elections. I must also caution of misinformation and disinformation. It is very important that the media and those on social media that if you are in doubt, the command center will be opened all through round during this electoral process. You may come here and cross-check with any information that you are not too sure of. So we want to caution the media as well as those on social media that whatever information they publicize should be facts that have been cross-checked and rechecked and cross-checked before they publicize them. This is to help us to be able to ensure that the media space is sanitized. It's only the facts that are reported. Let me also indicate that the military will be only on standby. As and when we need them, then we will deploy them. But if we don't need the military, we will not request for the deployment of the military. So they are only going to be on standby. Once again, I want to reassure all the good people of Akwatia that they should come out in their numbers and exercise their franchise. The Ghana Police Service will continue to reassure them of their safety and security during this period. I thank you very much for your attention and your coverage. And may God bless our homeland Ghana. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Director General of Operations. Are there any questions? If there are any, we would like to take them now.
My question has to do with the number of policemen deployed in the constituency for the by-election. And when you go around some of the constituents, they are complaining that the number of men in their various communities are very high. What do you have to say about that? Thank you.
Any other questions, please?
Yes, mine have to do with accreditation. The media was informed just last week. The EC, we were informed by the EC just last week that we should present our name for accreditation. As we are speaking, the accreditation hasn't come yet. Assuming some of us or most of the media houses couldn't get the specific accreditation you are talking about, but if they have their ID card and jacket, can we work with you?
Any other questions, please?
Thank you very much for those questions. Let me take the first one. In all, the police service is deploying a total of 5,500 police personnel for these elections. The deployment is strategically done based on the number of polling stations, the number of voters for a particular polling station. We have also zoned the areas into the 21 electoral areas. So we have enough and adequate police personnel to provide security at those locations. If the concern is that we have more than police personnel deployed at a particular polling station, I think the better for them, because that is to reassure them of their safety and security during this exercise. And we have the command center that will be monitoring all the activities around the 119 polling stations. I have mentioned that we have technology-enabled capabilities that will allow us to be able to monitor all these activities. And this is going to inform our rapid response to any situation within a particular polling station or electoral area. So that is assurance we are giving to the good people of Akwatia, and that they should be ready and be assured that their safety is guaranteed. Now, to the accreditation, the EC is working around the clock to ensure that the media, observers, political party representatives at the collation center, political parties representatives at the polling stations are accredited. Now, the political parties are submitting the list of their polling agents to the EC. In the same vein, the media houses are also requested to submit the names of their media persons who will be covering this by-election. And therefore, before the D-Day, that is the 2nd September, I believe strongly that the EC would have made the accreditations available to the media houses. And that will inform how we want to admit those who have accreditation or those who want to monitor the exercise. However, if you do not have the accreditation before the D-Day, sometimes the EC itself provides us with a list of other media houses who may have not submitted their names for accreditation. And once they send those lists to us, we share with our team at the collation center or at the polling stations. And once you mention your name and it's on the list, even though you don't have the accreditation and you have your ID card, you may, I choose my words carefully, you may be allowed to observe the process. Where we are going to have strict enforcement of only accredited persons, then my may shall change to shall. It means if you don't have the accreditation, you will not be entertained, particularly at the collation center. Let me also urge the media. We need your support. We need you to be able to cover this and bring out reportage that is balanced. We don't want a situation where the media will bring certain reportage to paint a particular institution in the bad taste. I think it's not good for all of us. We are in it together, and we must work together as a team to ensure that whatever we produce for the consumption of the good people of this country is in the best interest of the state. I think that should be the hallmark. That should be the riding factor for us to cover this by-election in Akwatia. Thank you very much for your question.
We'll take the last question, after which we'll go inside the command center. DG, Director General of the Center.
Sometimes some police officers do not cooperate with the individual. Last week, they sent me. They was something. I came here, and then this commander told me you are not prepared to give me information. If I wrote anything, or that before I gave the place, so I was about to go. One another officer from Accra called me. He gave me his name as Isaka. Oh, don't listen to what he said. You go down. Whatever you see, write it. But don't write negativity in the matter. So he gave me assurance.
He didn't identify himself.
Thank you very much, our colleague from the Daily Graphic. If you look at, let me apologize for what you may have encountered in the first instance with the first police officer. However, you had a senior officer who was able to present whatever information that you requested for. Now, if you look at the command structure for these particular elections, we have the police management board are going to be at the electoral areas. We also have our regional commanders who are also going to be part of the command structure at the electoral areas. And we have very senior police officers who are also going to be part of the command structure at the electoral areas. Any media personality who thinks that he wants to access a particular polling station or electoral area, please engage with these command structures. And I can assure you that they will grant you unfettered access to cover whatever you want to cover and then report as such. So sometimes it is important to look out for the leadership when you find yourself at a particular polling station or electoral area. Identify yourself with your accreditation or with your ID card and the media house that you are representing, and I can assure you, you'll be allowed to access whatever information that you require. Sometimes it is important that the information that you are churning out there is information that you have cross-checked the command leadership. It's information that you have actually gleaned from the polling station or the electoral area. It should not be conjecture. It should not be things that you assume. It should only be the facts and the facts that you report on.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. We'll now follow the COMAP members into the command center, where we'll be given a tour of the setup and how it's going to be deployed on the election day. Thank you so much.
You go inside with them. Go inside with them. He said, will you carry the Grace?
No. Okay. Constituency on the map, and by way of map orientation, this is my north. Now the constituency has been divided into 21 electoral areas, and for our strategic deployments we have zoned it into 9 zones. So this map represents our deployment strategy, our rapid response strategy. So it helps us to visualize how our deployments will be done, and at any given point in time, any incident that is occurring at any specific polling station, we will be able to identify which specific polling station that will have this situation, and the rapid response team that we have allocated to those constituency polling station or the electoral area will respond to those challenges or issues. Now, if you look at this particular area, it is a cluster of the polling stations that we have, and that tells us that the deployment there will have to be heavy because we have the polling stations all together. Again, if you look at this area, they are isolated, they are far off from Akwatia township. So it is a focus for our deployment strategy. We will enhance the security arrangements at those locations to ensure that the elections that will take place in these specific areas, the collations or the counting, will be done in a very safe and secured environment. And having used this to explain the entire Akwatia constituency and how our deployment is going to look like, let me walk you through some of the technology-enabled capabilities that we are deploying for this specific by-election. The first one that we see is the CCTV surveillance footages. We are currently monitoring 9 eyeballs, okay? But we have more than 9 here. At any given point in time, any of them that is of interest, particular interest to us, we can pull the camera up here and we can begin to visualize what is happening at that specific location. So these are the areas that we have. This is the collation center. Inside the collation center. So anything that will be going on here, we'll be monitoring it from here. Okay? Then we have the outside of the collation center where all the ballot boxes will be brought in and the pink sheets will be handed over to the party representatives who will then go into the collation center and continue to do the collation and tabulation of their respective results. The EC will also be there and be capturing its figures, where the political parties will be conferring and cross-checking their figures with that of what? EC. Then we have other strategic locations of interest that we will be monitoring to ensure that adequate security is provided for this election. Now, before we came into Akwatia, we had trained 600 armed men who are currently providing road checkpoints, patrols in the whole of Akwatia Township. They were deployed 2 weeks ago, and as part of this preventive strategy, you can see the incidents that have been reported so far. Now, during the process, we have one police region, that's the Eastern South region. We have one constituency with one collation center. Then we have 21 electoral areas. During our pre-deployment exercise here, where we have the checkpoints, we recovered 13 weapons were retrieved from persons through our cordon and search operations and checkpoints. The total number of police stations that we have, the number of incidents so far we have recorded is 11, and these are incidents related to these weapons that were retrieved. And then the total number of arrests that have been made is 14. Now, this arrest is in connection with the weapons. Some have produced their permits. We are conducting investigations to see the validity or otherwise of these permits. And once that investigation is over, those that have legitimate permits to possess those weapons will hand over their weapons to them. But those that do not have permits to cover these weapons will be taken through due process. Now, the incidents as we have are also recorded here. So at any given point in time, any incident that will occur at any polling station or electoral area will be captured and will be entered here. So at any given point in time, we have all these incidents that will be recorded. Now, this is a map of the entire electoral area with the polling stations as highlighted. So anytime there's any incident at any given place, you see that that polling station will be blinking, telling us that there's an incident going on there. Then we call the rapid response team to respond to that particular polling station, and whatever incident is there, they will deal with it. We have told our officers, we've trained them, the first process is to de-escalate any situation that they will encounter first, and then use dialogue and mediation to deal with it first. It is only when the resistance is beyond the use of dialogue and mediation, then we escalate it and deal with it based on our rules of engagement. So that is what I want to say. Now we also have our body cameras. The body cameras will be worn at every polling station. So every polling station will be reporting on what incidents is happening there. And we have all the cameras here. We are using the body cameras so that in the event of any situation, we do not run to the media alone for evidence or request that you produce evidence for us. We are recording all these incidents so that at the end of the day, whatever evidence we have, we can present it at the law courts or we can review it to help us in our investigations. So we want to make sure that whatever video footage or evidence that we are going to collect is not doctored. It is evidence that has been gleaned from a particular body camera, and we'll place that body camera and make it available at the law courts as and when it's required. Again, it is for the safety of our officers. In the event that they are even being attacked, the signal will be sent and we will then be able to send the rapid response team to provide security and safety for them. So I want to assure you that at no given point in time will a police officer tamper with the body camera, because it is for his own safety and it is for his own protection. In the event that allegations are made against him, that will serve as an evidence to other buttress or to support whatever assertion that he's making to whatever commission of inquiry that will be set up in the course of this exercise. So, ladies and gentlemen of the press, I think you've seen what the Ghana Police Service has put in place and the security arrangements that we have. And we want you to go out there and reassure the community, to reassure the good people of Akwatia that they should come out in their numbers and cast their votes without fear of any intimidation, without fear of anybody hindering them from exercising their franchise. We thank you very much as partners that you will propagate this message to good people of Akwatia. Thank you very much.